Let me tell you something most men learn too late. You can build everything in your life, your career, your discipline, your confidence, your body, your standards, and lose it all to one wrong woman. Not because she was evil, not because she was violent, but because she drained you emotionally, slowly, quietly, until you didn't recognize yourself anymore. This video is not about hating women. It's about protecting your power. Because the most dangerous women don't destroy you with chaos on the outside. They do it with emotion on the inside. And once you recognize these types, you stop trying to fix chaos and start choosing peace. Let's begin. Type number 1, the emotional manipulator. This woman doesn't need to raise her voice. She doesn't need threats. She controls you through emotional instability. Psychologically, this works through guilt conditioning. Her emotions become your responsibility. When she cries, you apologize. When she goes silent, you chase. When she explodes, you try to calm her down. And without realizing it, your nervous system rewires itself around her moods. Your peace becomes conditional. Here's a common story. You bring up something honest, something small. She suddenly looks hurt. Tears form. Her voice shakes. Now you're not talking about the issue anymore. You're trying to repair her feelings. You didn't win the argument. You lost your ground. Over time, patterns appear. Extreme mood swings. You apologizing even when you're not sure what you did wrong. You avoiding truth because it feels exhausting. Here's an insight that matters. If she controls your peace, she already owns your power. Love should feel grounding, not like walking through an emotional minefield. Now let's move to type number 2, the micromanager. This one is subtle because it disguises itself as care. Psychologically, this is control masked as concern. She doesn't say, I want to control you. She says, don't wear that. I just worry about you. Why do you talk to him? I only say this because I care. At first, it feels attentive, protective. Then something shifts. You start explaining yourself. Then asking for permission. Then slowly editing your life to avoid conflict. Your hobbies fade. Your friends become distant. Your decisions shrink. Not because she demanded it outright, but because peace became easier than resistance. Here's the truth most men miss. Healthy love gives space. Control builds cages and calls them boundaries. If your life is getting smaller, not larger, something is wrong. Now type number 3, the entitled queen. This woman believes love means being served. Psychologically, this is entitlement paired with emotional leverage. At the beginning, she's appreciative, grateful, warm. But slowly, gratitude disappears. What you do becomes expected. Then insufficient. No matter how much you give, it's never enough. You set a boundary and suddenly you're selfish. You say no and now you're not the man she thought you were. Here's a familiar story. You pay. You plan. You compromise. She receives. And when you finally ask for balance, she reacts like you betrayed her. That's because you didn't build a partnership. You build a throne, and from a throne, appreciation looks like weakness. Now pause for a moment. Notice the common thread so far. Each of these women doesn't take your power by force. You give it away through guilt, through compliance, through fear of conflict. And here's the uncomfortable truth. These patterns don't survive strong boundaries. They survive men who confuse tolerance with strength. In part 2, we're going deeper. We'll talk about transactional love, validation addiction, and why some women don't want commitment, they want attention. And you'll start seeing exactly where emotional destruction really begins. Now, let's continue, because this is where many men finally recognize themselves in the pattern, not as victims, but as participants. Type number 4, the gold digger. This woman doesn't necessarily say she wants money, she wants lifestyle. Psychologically, this is transactional affection mixed with validation addiction. She's attracted to what you provide, not who you are. At the beginning, she's enthusiastic, supportive, affectionate. as long as the experiences keep coming. Trips, dinners, gifts, status. But watch closely. When resources slow down, so does intimacy. Her energy drops. Her affection cools. Her attention shifts elsewhere. You feel it before you can explain it. Intimacy becomes performance. Appreciation becomes rare. Here's the truth most men ignore. If you pay for loyalty, what you bought was silence, not love. The moment the transaction feels unbalanced, the relationship collapses. Now, type number 5, the attention addict. This woman is not addicted to men. She's addicted to being desired. Psychologically, this is dopamine dependence driven by validation. She needs eyes on her, likes, messages, compliments, and she justifies it easily. They're just friends. It's harmless. You're overreacting. But watch her behavior, not her words. She flirts casually, keeps old connections warm, feeds on external affirmation, and slowly you realize something painful. You are not her partner. You are her audience. Here's the truth bomb. She doesn't cheat for sex. She cheats for validation, and no amount of loyalty from you can satisfy a hunger that never ends. Type number 6, the perpetual victim. This woman is always wounded. Psychologically, this is the victim narrative used as control. Every conflict becomes your fault. Every problem becomes something you must fix. She tells stories of how others wronged her, how life was unfair, how she was misunderstood. At first, your empathy pulls you in. You want to help, to rescue. But notice the pattern. She never takes responsibility. She never truly heals. And the drama never stops. Here's the insight you must remember. The moment you start saving her, she starts drowning you. Because victims don't want solutions. They want validation of their pain. And pain becomes the currency of the relationship. Type number 7, the serial lover. This woman falls fast, very fast. Psychologically, she's addicted to dopamine and the intensity of beginnings. She says things like, "You're different. I've never felt this way before. This is special." And for a while, it feels incredible. Then something shifts. Routine appears. Stability replaces novelty, and her energy fades. She gets bored, restless, distant. Not because you changed, but because the high wore off. Here's the line that cuts through illusion. She doesn't love men. She loves beginnings. And once the excitement becomes normal, she's already looking for the next emotional hit. Now stop here for a second. Notice how these types drain men in different ways. One takes your money. One takes your attention. One takes your emotional labor. But all of them take your peace. In part 3, we're going to finish this. We'll talk about emotional unavailability, dependency, unhealed trauma, and the final twist most men never consider. Because the most dangerous part isn't who these women are. It's why men are drawn to them. Now let's finish this, because the last types are the ones that trap the strongest men. Not because they are obvious, but because they feel familiar. Type number 8, the emotionally unavailable woman. This woman operates through uncertainty. Psychologically, this is control through the push-pull dynamic. One day she's warm, present, affectionate. The next day she's distant, cold, unreachable. You never know where you stand. And that's the point. Your mind starts working overtime. Replaying conversations, analyzing tone, trying to regain closeness. But what you feel isn't passion, it's anxiety. Real connection brings calm. Uncertainty creates obsession. And the longer you stay, the more your self-trust erodes. Type number 9, the dependent. This one looks like love at first. Psychologically, this is codependency. She doesn't say, "I love you." She says, "You're my whole world." At first, it feels powerful. You feel needed, important, irreplaceable. Then the weight sets in. You must reassure constantly. support endlessly, carry her emotional stability. Your energy drains, your life shrinks. Here's the truth most men learn too late. When she needs you to breathe, you forget how to. Love should add to your life, not consume it. Type number 10, the unhealed one. This is the most misunderstood type because trauma creates sympathy. Psychologically, this is using past wounds as present justification. Every outburst is explained by her past. Every boundary crossed is blamed on trauma. I'm like this because of what happened to me. And slowly, you become her caretaker. You excuse behavior you would never tolerate elsewhere. Here's the insight you must remember. You can love her scars, but you can't survive her wounds. Healing is not explanation. Healing is change. Now here comes the twist that ties everything together. These women do not take your power. They expose where you are willing to give it away. Men don't fall for toxic women because they are weak. They fall because something in them is still unhealed. A need to rescue, a need to be chosen, a need to feel important. And toxic dynamics feed those needs perfectly. So let's close with clarity. Here are the 5 deadly confusions men make. They confuse chaos with passion, control with care, attention with affection, being needed with being valued. Saving someone with strength. A man is not defined by who he attracts. He is defined by who he refuses. Your power is not proven by endurance. It's proven by boundaries. Choose peace over chemistry. Respect red flags before they become scars. And remember this, the right woman will not drain your energy. She will amplify it. If this video gave you clarity instead of comfort, you're exactly where you need to be. Comment below, I protect my peace. Share this with a man still confusing chaos for love. And subscribe if you're done repeating emotional patterns.